Bioforce again. I get a huge hit of these Widow Mines on his Corruptors, and I pick off his 4th base. So finally, I accomplish something. Again, some massive Widow Mine hits. Ladies and gentlemen, I got a weird one for you. A real weird, real messy TvZ. I'm at Platinum 3 still against AVZ. So I try out uThermal's build. It's the Terran School TvZ amazing build number 19 in his series. Sorry, I just like skip through a lot of this, but this is where it gets interesting. I A-move my Hellions onto creep and let them get completely demolished by the Lings, but the 3 reinforcements show up to mop up the rest of the Lings. Meanwhile, I move in my drop into the main. I just drop my Hellions to the back of the mineral line, let them kind of do their thing. Drop my Marines into the main, let them do their thing. The Hellions get mopped up. The Marines chill and do a little bit of damage. We're equal on workers, so it's not awful. Let's show my scouting SCV. So that's the gist of it. My battle cruiser is delayed, so I do get the medevac back. That's nice. Overall, we're still decently even. This is where my build starts getting a bit wonky after I get the battle cruiser out. I don't know too much of what to do after. I try to go to a bio transition. I noticed that he scouts my BC, so I just warp it into the main because what's more fun than a BC in the main? Try and target fire his spore crawlers. Don't worry, this is the boring part of the game. It starts getting weird after this. This is all my build. This is all relatively according to plan. It's nice right here. I'm able to deny some mining. I'm kind of macroing back home because this battle cruiser is more of to force a reaction. You want to try and keep it alive, but I struggle to keep it alive after warping it into a main. He starts building a whole bunch of spore crawlers. That's what I like about this. It forces a reaction. He's just scouting me with an overseer. I mean, I'm macroing right now, so I'm not paying too much attention to my BC. I figured it'd be funny to attack his spawning pool, delay some of his macro and whatnot. Now I decide to move it over to his natural, but he's got all his spore crawlers up. There's not too much I can do. I'm not even looking at it at this moment, so if anything, it's at least making him spend a lot of resources on spore crawlers, and he's building corruptors, built a spire. That's the fun part about this build, is you force them to build a whole bunch of corruptors. He counterattacks with a Ling run by. I've got an excess of Hellions made at home, so it's not too bad. Right now he's probably baffled by what my build is because I'm baffled too. Overall, I've got a higher worker count now, and I'm telling you, I think a lot of that's psychological damage. He's expecting some weird battlecruiser stuff. He is macroing up, but I don't know. My Hellions and my pack of bio again defeat his Zergling run by, which is great because it allows me to keep macroing. If you look at my production tab, I'm getting my upgrades, building a 4th, and building some more barracks, and I send in a double drop. Again, I was thinking about sending that to the main, but I wanted to see what else is going on. I think I misclicked them too. I moved out my Hellions too, see what's going on. Accidentally, I think A moved my double drop to the Hellions, and now it's a bit weird. I don't really know what to do with them. I just know that I'm trying to get some harass happening, but Eventually I realized I'm probably not going to be able to make the medevacs escape because he's going to chase him with corruptors, so I just dropped my boys and get a pretty lackluster trade. But again, my worker and army account are high up, and I think a large part of that is just the psychological damage of my build order. I don't think he knows exactly how to counter it, so he's just kind of all over the place with roaches and I think maybe hydralisks. And he can't really get a good push on me because my widow mines are holding him back. Just kind of weird dance he does. He kills my few workers on the gold. I move out a detachment of bio just to see what can happen. They get killed. This is where I get in an awkward spot. I get near maxing out and I have way too many widow mines and medevacs. Here's where I finally go. I need to just do something with my mostly maxed out army. And so I do move out. I don't know. This is as good as you have as good of a guess as I do about how I could do this better. It's more of just analyzing a weird game. I've had the macro on him for most of it, but his work account's finally catching up to mine. Trying to play with bio is really weird. I'm used to my tanks. I'm trying to break out of that. You can see there's so much area of effect with all those banelings. Here's where I try and do a little move out with my bio on the other side, but just kind of get them killed. I really wanted to bait him into my way too many widow mines, but he wasn't having it. I think he had a feeling. I think he kind of knew what I was up to. I try utilizing my widow mines by moving them closer. Reinforcements come in. Unfortunately, even more widow mines, so it gets really awkward. I think this is where I needed to take a deep breath. I wasn't. But we are sieging him up. That's something. It's keeping him off of my doorstep and giving me some map control, so at least I can say that. Both of us are just in such an awkward spot. I'm keeping the creep off my doorstep. Here's where I split off my bio force again. I get a huge hit of these widow mines on his corruptors and I pick off his fourth base. So finally I accomplished something. Again, some massive widow mine hits. But I had all my bio clumped up, so his banelings ended up killing me. This is where I figured I should consolidate my gains of eliminating one of his bases and building back up, and hopefully with a more coherent troop composition. I do eventually build a Ghost Academy, but completely forget. Something happened where I was going to move out and try and hit a different flank, but one of my units saw that he was moving in for an attack, so I moved back into a defensive posture. I actually catch him while his banelings are morphing, which is nice. I get a couple picks, but he does escape with a bit of them. But at the very least, I'm able to defend the space because I know where he's at. Although I do start moving into a weird position. This isn't the best spot. He could have ducked around me and started attacking my bases, but he didn't, so that's good. He pushes in. Banelings really wiping a lot of my units. And my mineral count is out the wazoo, even though I have a lot of production. It's just I'm getting sloppy. I'm not having them on my hotkey. Right now I'm just kind of trying to spend my money. This is where I start building command centers. And I am starting to get maxed out again, so I have this thing where when I'm maxed out, I feel pressure to make some troop trades. I don't know if that's exactly the right thing to do. I mean, kind of makes sense, but I don't know. I get some good Widow Mine hits on his Corruptors especially, and this is where I noticed that I can move in on his Broodlords. I pick them off, and I get the game. My macro was slipping. I probably could have taken more time to sit back and work on my macro, either making more command centers, more unit production, splitting my medevac drops instead of only always doing a double drop, and maybe more sensor towers. I didn't make a single one of those. It's just hard because I feel like when you're at bio unit composition, you have to stay active. You don't have as much of a defense to fall back on as you do when you have a siege tank line, so I'm not too sure. Subscribe.